Hello everybody, welcome back to another Expeditions Guide. Today we're taking a look at Fishlore. This is a contract in the East Beskids region. This contract is unlocked after completing Bear's Tread, and you need to have 2 hydro monitoring systems and a sideboard. I also recommend waiting until after you've gone through the cave for Seeking to the Quarry, because we're going to be using the cave on this route. So let me show you what we're going to be doing. And if you have any questions about my vehicle loadout for the Step Crocodile, you will find that in the description below. So we're going to start from the northeast outpost and follow this pretty standard path down to the south here. And this is where we're going to install the first hydro monitoring system. After that, we're going to jump into the cave, and then we're going to follow the tunnel through the cave. We are going to have to build a bridge while we're going through the cave, so make sure you have 75 spare parts to follow this route. And that's going to take us out over here, after which we're just going to drive right around the corner by the lakeshore and go install the second hydro monitoring system. You could alternatively do this with 2 trucks, one from each outpost, but I wanted to show you how to do it with just 1 truck and give a chance to go down into the cave some more. So, that being said, let's begin and I'll show you how it's done. So in addition to everything required, I do also have with me a set of anchors and jack screws for emergency purposes. So the first thing we're going to do is head right on up this snowy hill here. And then we're going to head right on up through here, up the hill and through a little bit more snow. Right on down the hill here, and then we're going to head right on over this rock, right on through this little mud puddle, right on through the snow. We're going to head right down here and then take a left. We go right up behind this tree here and up over these rocks. And then we're just going to follow this path here through a little bit more snow. And right over here, we're going to cross through a little bit more snow. And this is the tricky part here. We're going to head right on down into this little rock crevice here. Just going to follow this all the way down. Right on over this rock here, and that's going to take us to some more snow that we got to cross through. Right on over here. And then we're going to follow these rocks all the way down the hill here. And right on down, we're going to go around all these rocks here, kind of right up through these trees. Up and over the rocks here. And we're going to follow this path through the hills. Right over here, we're going to head down some rocks. All the way down. Just going to keep following these rocks. On the rocks there a little bit. That's alright. We got Winch, we can keep on going. So right on over through here, and then we're going to go across the water. So right over here, we're just going to head right on down into the water. And go right on across. Going to make our way right on through these trees. It's kind of tight navigating, but we're just going to squeeze through the trees and get over to these rocks, which we can just kind of cross over here to the blue square, and then go ahead and install your hydro monitoring system. Alright, with that installed, it is time to make our way into the cave. So we're just going to continue following the loop around this little pond here. And then from here, we're going to head on into the cave. Alright everybody, welcome to the cave. We're just going to cut through the cave here. So let me show you, this is where we're at, and we're just going to follow this tunnel all the way over. There is a bridge here that we are going to build. So we're just going to build that bridge and go right across. This is a two-step bridge. I've already got one of them built, so we're going to build the one from this side. This other bridge you have to reach from the other side. So that's all we're going to be doing. And then there's some rocks here that would need to be cleared out if you haven't been in the cave yet. That's why I recommend doing the Secret of the Quarry first before you do this one, if you're going to do the cave route. But that being said, let's go ahead and make our way through this cave. Wedged onto the rock there. It's alright. Alright. Continuing on. It's pretty straightforward getting through the cave. We're basically just going to follow a linear path right through the cave from east to west. There are some rocks and things that might damage your vehicle getting through here, but there's nothing super treacherous along this path we're going to take. And it's just going to get us right on across that river so we can get the second hydro monitoring system installed. So we're just going to keep on going here. And here's that bridge installation I was talking about. So we're going to go ahead and build the second half of this bridge. And then make our way across. And again, that's 75 parts for each section of the bridge here. And then the rock fall up ahead that I mentioned is 150 spare parts, so definitely want to make sure you have the parts to do those various passageway clearings if you haven't done them already. We're just going to keep following the tunnel here. This is probably the trickiest part here. You need to just kind of let the truck settle and then make a turn up this hill. And from here we can just keep moving forward. A lot of rocks to crawl over through here. But it's pretty fun. I like this cave. I hope there's more opportunities to use this cave in other routes, because That was one of my favorite parts about doing the Sedona caves, was kind of taking the shortcuts to the cave. Made for some interesting routing, trying to put those guides together. So. Alright, right here, this is kind of a tricky spot. Just going to kind of right across here. So you can kind of get dipped down into that water. Get your bumper hung up. Alright, now things have kind of opened up a little bit. We still have a lot of rocks to maneuver. But we're not dealing with treacherous climbs and things like that right now. It is kind of a tight squeeze here, but it is plenty wide enough for the Crocodile. Right up through here. And there's our exit right up ahead, so we just need to get angled and make our way over to the gateway. But before we go through, we're going to go ahead and patch up all that rock damage and go ahead and top off the fuel tank. Alright, now we head through the gateway. Alright everybody, welcome to the other side of the gateway. So we are now right over here. So all we have to do is head down to the south here to install the second hydro monitoring system. So we're going to head over there and go do that. So the first thing we're going to do is head off of the cave entrance area here and then make our way over to the right. And then from here we're going to head to the left and make our way down towards the river shore. It is kind of bumpy here, lots of high angles, so just follow this precise pathing here just to get through a lot of this stuff, just so we can get down to that sandy shoreline. Alright, once we get to the shoreline, we're just going to follow this for a bit. Going to follow this up and around. You can see the mud isn't super thick here. The Crocodile is just blazing through this right now. But anyway, right here we're going to head up to the right. Make our way into this little inlet. Right around the corner. And up this hill. And right on through the woods here. We're going to go around that big rock. Kind of punch a hole through the trees here so you can get up there. And right over here to your blue square. And go ahead and install that hydro monitoring system. And with that installed, that is going to complete Fishlore, and that is going to reward you with the Offroad Gearbox for the Dessin S3T. So I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know what you think, and until next time, I'll see you in the wild. Bye-bye.